Okay, so let's talk about the triangle choke. The triangle choke, obviously one of the most beautiful and wonderful submissions, so creative and innovative, something that's really come into its own because of Royce's use of this successfully in the first several UFCs against very large opponents. If you haven't had a chance to see this, go on YouTube or go online and search for Royce Gracie's fight against Dan Severn. Dan Severn, very, very big, very strong, very accomplished, collegiate, and possibly Olympic level wrestler. And he was submitted by Royce with the triangle choke at the end of a very long fight. He was a very determined opponent, obviously knew what it took to win, but couldn't stop Royce's triangle choke. And Royce got the triangle choke because he moved to a position from which the triangle was easily achievable. That position from which the triangle was most easy to finish or to execute is called the triangle setup, and it's essentially one of my legs over my opponent's shoulder with the feet crossed, right? Just like this. This is what we would refer to as the triangle setup position. One of my legs over the shoulder, the feet crossed, and you notice he's got an outside arm and an inside arm. Outside arm and inside arm. To move from the triangle setup position to the triangle itself, I do this. So what did I do? From the triangle setup position, you'll notice that the arm that's inside is an important component of the choke. My leg on the far side is putting pressure on this carotid artery, and his arm on this side, on the close side, is putting pressure on his carotid artery. So I have to move the arm at an angle, to an angle at which that pressure will be created. And the best angle is for the arm to be across my body. So when I start the triangle setup, my feet are crossed over his shoulder. I have an inside arm and an outside arm, and I don't want to be relaxed here. I want my pelvis tight against his chest to close any distance. If I leave it open, look how he can swing his arm under my leg. And now we're just back to the standard closed guard. So it's important that when I have the triangle setup position, one leg over the shoulder, feet crossed, inside arm, outside arm, I don't get lazy here. I want to lift my hips up and stay close on his chest. Pelvis smashed against the chest. To move his arm across the body, I can swim underneath. Look, I can swim underneath and sort of shield it across here. Or I can just grab it like this, pick it up and move it across. The important thing is that once I move it across, right, I keep it in position. How do I do that? This hand, the far side hand, makes a thumb full grip, and I just press it against my own thigh. Even if I don't get the arm all the way across like this, but I get the arm halfway across, that's fine. I just want to keep the pressure here and hold it against my leg. I just need this arm close. More important than the arm all the way across and deep is that the arm is not out. I want it in and close. So once it's in and close, which I get to by either swimming or just by grabbing and holding, right? And you can use your hips for this too. Look, you can keep your hips up because they're already up. And then once the arm is across, you can put the hips down a little bit. Relax here. And it helps to create an opening for the arm to fit into. I'm going to hold the arm in place. From the arm across, I can open my guard. But if I open my guard and I don't do anything to keep him down, he's going to sit up and pull the arm free, swim through, and I'm back in the closed guard again. So from the triangle, set up one leg over the shoulder, feet crossed, and I move the arm across with the hips up, smashed against the pelvis against the chest. I hold the arm in place. When it's time for me to open the guard, I do what? I must hold the head. So I open the guard, put the foot on the hip, but I hold the head. Not the top of the head where it can slip off. Not around the side, but the back of the neck, right here. I clamp down and I hold the head down. Now when he tries to sit up, I can hang my weight, and it makes it more difficult for him. In order to get my legs around his neck and secure this final figure 4 position, which makes the triangle locked tight, locked down, I have to get my pelvis out from underneath him. If you notice right now where he is in relationship to me, his head and upper body carriage and shoulder carriage are all on top of my pelvis and they're holding it down, which makes it hard for me to turn my leg the way I need to get to this full figure 4 lock. So it's important that I get my pelvis out from underneath. If this is me on the bottom and this is him on top, in order for my legs to reach successfully around his neck, I need to slide myself out like this, right? Out. So, triangle setup position, one leg over the shoulder, hips up, pelvis smashed against his chest. I move the arm and I hold it in place. When I open the guard, I hold the head. I open the guard, put the foot in the hip, and hold the head. I have the foot in the hip because I'm going to use that to slide my pelvis out. How? I put pressure on my foot in the hip, and I put pressure on the back of my thigh against him. And I use those 2 pressure points to push him that way so that I can walk away. And how do I walk? On my shoulder. Now you can see my pelvis has slid out from underneath. If the camera can come around to this side here, let's go back in. And you see my pelvis is stuck underneath him. So when I hold the arm and open, right, and put the foot in the hip and use this here, and don't forget, hold the head. Watch as I walk on my shoulders, how the pelvis slides out from underneath. That's it, and that's all I need. It's not a lot. Once the pelvis is out from underneath, this clears my leg, and I put my leg straight to the ceiling so that I can turn it around the corner. I want my leg not here at an angle across his back, but straight across so that it holds down his head. Remember how we talked earlier about how important it is to keep him from sitting up. So once I walk myself back, in order to get a good bite on the neck, I put the leg up, turn it, right? Turn it, and then bite. And now to hold the leg down, look, the hand that's on the head just switches to the thigh, the shin. Right? And I don't grab here on my foot, where by pulling my foot, I hurt it, and then I can't pass my own leg over. I grab a little high on the shin, and I pull the ankle tight. And what this does is look at the space between here and here. It leaves a little shelf for my leg to land. And that's the final motion. The final step is to close the triangle choke completely by putting this open leg over and locking it down. Now to finish, you'll notice, look, here's the triangle. The camera comes back here. Right to the head position again. So I've walked myself out. The pelvis is free. I put the leg up, I turn and hold the shin. Now I lock it down. In order to finish the triangle choke, and look at the triangle, look, this is the bottom or the base of the triangle, and then here's the sides coming down like this. The deeper I can pull his head into the point of the triangle, it's an inverted pyramid, the deeper I can wedge his head, the more pressure, obviously, there will be on each carotid artery. The deeper he sinks in, the more pressure there is. So how do I create that pressure? I create the pressure from 3 sides. One is my knees have to go together. I want my knees together. I squeeze my thighs together. This puts pressure on this side and pressure on this side. My leg on one side, his arm on the other. The second pressure point is my hips up. My hips up. This puts pressure from the bottom and forces the arm up into his head. And now to complement that, I pull down on the top of the head all at the same time. So knees together, hips up, pull the head, and very quickly the person submits because of the pressure. If they don't submit, of course, it changes the blood flow to the brain and they pass out. We're not going to demonstrate that. Okay? So triangle setup position. One leg over the opponent's shoulder. I want to swim under or hold the arm and shield it across until I can hold it with a thumb full grip and keep it pressed against my thigh. Now, before I do anything, I hold the head. And now that the head is down and locked down, I can safely open the guard, put the foot in the hip, and walk myself back. The purpose being to get the pelvis out from underneath, because this frees my legs. So my leg goes up and then turns and locks down on the back of his neck. And now the hand that held the head can hold the shin. And to lock this shut completely, figure 4. Now 3 things happen. Knees together, head being pulled by both hands, and hips up. When I combine them, there's the triangle choke. All right? So without a partner, guard position, triangle setup position, inside arm, outside arm, shield arm across, and hold it. Right? To simulate reality here, when I open the guard, I hold the head, and of course I have to put my foot on the ground here because there's no hip, because I'm doing this without a partner. But make sure you put the foot on the hip, right? And then you walk yourself back. Once you're back, leg up, turn, grab. Figure 4. And now look, knees together, thighs together. Hold the head and lift the hips. All right, any questions on this? Okay, let's give it a try.